Hello and welcome back to the Ghost of Alcantra. Last time was all fun and games in 87. I don't think it will be the same for Victor, but let's find out. June 28th, 1997. I received both good and bad news from Detective Storm the next day. The bad news was that the killer of the murders in 1987 was never caught, which wasn't a surprise. That left the possibility that the murders of 1987 and 1997 were done by the same person. The good news was that they could likely protect the next victim. If the murders were to follow the same pattern as the 1987 ones, the daughter of the first victim would be next. Marcella Rivers had a daughter living in Alcantra. Her name was Ivana Rivers. She would be placed under police protection. That was a relief to hear. At the very least, we might be able to save one person. That's something. However, I knew I couldn't relax and still needed to try and get my memories back. If I did nothing, I only increased my chances of going crazy. I decided to embark on a ridiculous project. There was no doubt I was familiar with Alcantra and must have known some of the people here before. Perhaps seeing names of the people who lived here would spark a return in my memory. I borrowed a phone book from Detective Storm, headed down to the library, and began flipping through it, hoping that some name would jar my memory. I was halfway through the C's when Detective Storm joined me at the table I was sitting at. You know, Victor, I really don't think this is going to help you. I looked up irritably. Aren't you supposed to be working? It's my lunch break. Thought I'd come over to help you out. You're going to help me look through the phone book? Of course not. I know what you're really trying to achieve with this phone book thing. I'm going to help you out with that. And what am I trying to achieve then? It's not about getting your memories back. It's about keeping yourself together. You need something to do to keep your mind off what happened yesterday, and I've got a better suggestion for that. That is? She got up from the table, taking the phone book with her. I followed her, wondering what this was all about. She dropped the phone book off at the front counter. Public donation. Hey, I was using that. It's my phone book. I can do what I want with it. What is a library going to do with a phone book? More useful things than what you'd do with it. She headed out, leaving the confused librarian with a phone book. I shook my head and followed her. She briskly moved through downtown before seating herself at a small outdoor table for a cafe. She gestured at the seat across from her. Sit down, Victor. My treat. Of course it was her treat. I didn't have any money. I took a seat. So eating lunch is supposed to help me keep my mind off things? Eating lunch with me is. I'm the important part. She called over a waiter and ordered pastries for both of us. Pastries? She didn't even let me order for myself. I looked around at the other tables. I wondered if I'd eaten here before. The place seemed familiar. This place is a favorite of mine. I gathered. Any reason you ordered for me? I figured I would know what you want. Why's that? One of my hunches. You're a pasty guy. Is it really not pastry? It's pasty? Okay. I had no idea what made me stand out as a pasty guy. It irritated me that she was right. A pasty sounded pretty good. Maybe I just don't know what that is. Okay. Thanks for lunch, though I'm going right back to the phone book afterwards. That's fine, as long as you relax for a bit now. You think half an hour of lunch is going to make me forget Beatrice Jameston's death? No, but it'll help a little. Life is mostly about eating and talking. If you can be reminded of that, I think you can keep yourself together long enough to be useful for me. Despite the harsh words, Detective Storm was looking out for me. That made me feel pathetic, given that we had to be around the same age. Okay then, what do you want to talk about? Anything, as long as it's not about the murders or the investigation. Those topics are off limits. There wasn't much to me besides those things, since I was an amnesiac. I tried to think of things to talk about. The weather? She'd make fun of me. The food? Not here yet. Then I realized there was an obvious thing we could talk about that we hadn't discussed yet. Let's talk about you. She looked surprised at my suggestion. Me? Yeah, I want to know more about you. There's nothing to talk about. I'm a rockstar detective, end of story. Obviously not that much of a rockstar, given what's going on currently. Watch it, Victor. I'm paying after all. Our pasties arrived, though Detective Storm ignored hers to glare at me. I dug in. So, what do you want to know, Victor? That was a good question. I want to know more about you was pretty vague. Any dreams for the future? Yeah, for you to get your damn memories back so this case can be solved. Case is off limits, gotta talk about something else. Damn, got me there. Dreams, huh? I haven't really thought about that. Hard to have dreams as a working person. I don't really think of the future past deadlines. Too real. Sounds tough. Okay, how about this? Why did you become a detective? I had no choice. No choice? Yeah, I was forced to play this role. That was a weird way to word it. She thought she was playing a role. And who forced her? Actually, I wanted to be an engineer. How'd you end up a detective then? That's a long story. She took a bite out of a pasty. You gonna elaborate? No. She continued eating a pasty to prove her non-elaboration on the topic. Okay then, why did you want to be an engineer? I guess you liked engineering stuff? Not liked it, I still like it. I got my degree in mechanical engineering from the university here. I like understanding how things work. Not so. If I had a dream before, it was probably to understand as much of the world as possible. It wasn't just mechanical things, it was also with people. I wanted to understand others so I could help them. So understanding me means taking me to lunch? Don't get it twisted, this is so you don't fuck things up with the investigation. I laughed at that. Who'd have thought you'd be the type to have a savior complex? Like I said, that was a dream from before. I'm not like that now. For sure. Watch it, Victor. Yes, ma'am. She took a couple of aggressive bites out of her pasty. I was pretty hot shit in college. I mean, I still am, but I was then too. I get lots of attention, but I noticed this person who looked like they maybe needed someone in their life, and I thought I could help. That sounds so narcissistic. Maybe I kind of was back then. When I noticed this person, I knew there was something off about them. I wanted to do something because I thought helping people would make me feel better about myself. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe not, but it's also a little toxic. I got to know this person, and in trying to help them, I made both of us suffer. They didn't want to be helped, and I neglected myself. I only thought of my value in relation to others, and when I wasn't helpful, I thought I wasn't worth anything. I learned from that experience that I had the wrong mindset. I needed to care not just about understanding things, but also appreciating them. I had to care and appreciate myself too. So that's why it was a dream from before? That's not exactly right. I guess it's still my dream. It's just that I'm a part of what I want to help now too. This interpersonal thing was enough to make you quit engineering? I didn't quit, I just had to become a detective for a little while. I don't think that's how it works. Your life doesn't have to be linear. I learned that sometimes you don't get a say in how things work. That's why I'm a detective for now. I'll get to go back to being an engineer soon. You're going to quit being a detective as soon as an idiot gets his memories back? You mean this ongoing investigation is your last one? Something like that. What sort of shady operation was our police department running? Detective Storm finished off her pasty and I took the last couple bites of mine. Yeah, that is weird. But she mentioned playing a role. Is that really it? We're staging something here to get our memory back? But that would be kind of extensive, like having her play a detective with what I assume is a real gun and everything, and police. Was it a police car or was it her own car? Either way, really, really weird. Anyhow, my lunch break is about over. Some of us don't have the luxury to be able to dilly-dally in the library. I wouldn't say I'm dilly-dallying. I'm trying to help you get back to being an engineer, I guess. She got up from the table and smiled at me. She didn't do that very often. Hey, thanks for telling me about you. You're welcome, as long as it distracted you from things. It did. Never would have taken you to be the extra considerate type. Like I said, that was a past me. Oh, I don't know. You've still got your moments. We'll have to change that. She left some money on the table and turned around, putting a hand up in the air in goodbye. Have fun with your phone books. I will. Have fun understanding things. Oh, I will. She turned back to me with a sinister sort of glare. I'm working on it. She continued on to the police station. She was a hard one to read. Was she nice or not? I still suspected she knew more about me than she let on, but I figured she had a good reason to hide whatever she was hiding. I started heading back to the library. I got to thinking about the future. I hadn't really thought about it yet. I just sort of assumed that when I remembered who I was, that things would be over for me. Like I'd go to jail or something. Maybe it was time to start thinking about a lawyer. Maybe Detective Storm knew someone good. I returned to the library and retrieved the phone book from the librarian, who was relieved to get rid of it. Thinking about it, what I wanted from the future was closure. That's what I was really looking for. I didn't mind if I got punished. In fact, I think I wanted to be punished. When I got what I deserved, then I could start thinking about the future. I opened up the phone book and began looking through the C's again, knowing that Detective Storm was probably right and that I was wasting my time. Well, what else are we supposed to do when no one in town seems to want to help us? July 17th, 1997. That's a bit of a jump. July passed by uneventfully. It was a peaceful, if dull, time. My phone book strategy failed to help me regain any memories, so I instead spent my days walking around Alcantra or spending time with Detective Storm. She was adamant that we not discuss the investigation, which I found strange. I thought I was supposed to be the key to all this, but perhaps I overestimated my role in all this, because nothing happened. Maybe the killer gave up. If so, I didn't end up helping Detective Storm with much. We protected one victim, and I helped her with crossword puzzles. I guess that was the extent of my usefulness. Since our talk about herself, Detective Storm and I were closer. We ended up watching a lot of movies and TV together when she returned from work, but closer didn't mean actually close. Her nonchalance about the investigation only furthered my suspicion she was holding info out on me. Obviously, she wasn't going to just let me bum around a place forever. Anyone in her situation would be wanting to get rid of me as soon as possible. So, why wasn't she trying to? Could I just accept that she was a nice person? That you didn't need ulterior motives to treat someone with kindness? No, not Detective Storm. She told me herself she needed me to be useful. She opened up to me once, but never again afterwards. Of course, I couldn't bridge any gap between us. I didn't remember anything to open up about. Times were peaceful, but I was getting impatient. I couldn't continue this oblivious lifestyle forever. I knew I was still running away because I was too scared to do the obvious thing to help regain my memories. The something I could still do was to actually talk to other people in Alcantra. I decided it was time to do that. Oh, I had just assumed we'd already tried that in some capacity. Huh. I guess it was just that first crime scene where the older people didn't want to talk to us. And that would turn you off from trying to talk to people, I guess, but that long? Okay then. Well, yeah, finally, let's do that. I made my way downtown. I didn't have to discuss my amnesia with others. I could start a casual conversation with someone by bringing up the thorns and their mansion. I could just say that I remembered the mansion on the hill and wondered where it had gone. That was an innocent enough inquiry. It was a Thursday afternoon and the weather was great, blue skies and mid-70s. Plenty of people were milling about downtown. I couldn't have asked for a more pleasant day to try this. I started walking down the street looking for someone to talk to. I figured an older person would be more likely to remember the thorns. I spotted an older gentleman who looked to be in his 60s or 70s, sitting on a bench in front of the post office. He looked kind enough, so maybe he'd answer my questions. I walked over to him. He gave me a small nod when I sat down on the bench next to him. "Excuse me, sir, I distinctly remember there being a large mansion overlooking the business part of town. It isn't there anymore. Do you know what happened to it?" The man didn't even look my way. The silent treatment. I sighed. I'd been here almost 2 months now, and I was still unwelcome. I decided to let him and his bench be. I got up and scouted the rest of the area, but things had changed from how they had been a minute ago. The atmosphere had shifted. Just a moment ago, people had been walking up and down the streets heading into shops. People had been talking in front of the buildings. But in the span of just a minute, that had all changed. Nobody was talking anymore. Nobody was walking anymore. Silence had enveloped the downtown area. Everyone had just stopped doing what they were doing. Now, they were all looking at me like they had when I visited the scene of the first murder. Had the old man sent a telepathic distress signal or what? That might have been a funny idea if the possibility of it was true wasn't so creepy. I left the old dude on the bench and walked over to a middle-aged lady who was blatantly staring at me. "Excuse me, ma'am, is something wrong? Have I done something?" She gave me an angry look and gripped her handbag like I was an armed robber. Across the street, people started walking inside the buildings. Did they think I was dangerous? "What? You can't talk to me?" She continued staring at me for several more moments before walking away. I looked around the downtown area. Everyone was watching me with wary and judgmental eyes. The old man from the bench had started moving across the street. This went far beyond superstitious phobias. It had been a mistake to try and regain my memories by talking with these people. There was no communicating with them. I started my way across downtown, intending to head back to Detective Storm's place. To my surprise, a young boy around 8 or 9 came running up to me. I guess the kid was too young to get the memo that I was to be avoided. I was about to say, like, yeah, again, that's disheartening. Everyone around you goes away, but that cannot be the whole town. The elder was willing to talk to us, and the detective, of course, so there must be someone, even if maybe the kid won't be super helpful, but let's wait and find out. Hey kid, what's up? He ran up to me, smiled, and held out an envelope. A letter for me? I grabbed the envelope and opened it up. Inside was a single sheet of white paper. In the middle of the paper, written in bright red marker was, "It's your fault." Of course. I looked down towards the kid. Did you write this? He nodded cheerfully, the smile still present on his face. He turned around and ran off. I frantically scanned the rest of the downtown area. Everyone was still looking at me. I looked back down at the message I had been given. There was no way the kid wrote this himself. Which person thought it was my fault then? There was nobody to ask. Everybody had run away from me. These people hadn't forgiven me for whatever crime I had committed. Why did everyone else know what I had done? Why didn't I? I shouted at the remaining people on the street. Well, what do you know about me? Spit it out. What have I done? Just tell me. My shout spurred an older woman into action. With the deftness not fitting of an elder, she crossed the street and walked up to me. Unlike the kid, she didn't wear a smile. She was frowning at me like I was a personal disappointment to her. She reached into her handbag and pulled out an envelope. Not this again. I'm not going to read that. Whatever I've done, whatever you all know about me, you can tell me to my face. She waggled the envelope in front of my face. Read it. It wasn't a request, it was a command. Something in her expression frightened me. It wasn't the look of disappointment you'd give someone for making a mistake. This was a look of disappointment you had when you found out the person you hated most wasn't burning in hell. Did I really deserve that? I ripped the envelope from my hand and opened it. Once again, there was a single white sheet of paper. Once again, what was written in bright red marker. The message on the paper said, "She will never forgive you." Why were these messages so damned vague? Who is she? What did I do that I will never be forgiven for? Let me guess, you wrote this? She nodded. Let me guess, you won't tell me what it means? She spat at my feet like I had the audacity to ask that. She got up in my face and yelled. You know what it means? I stumbled over backwards. She just looked at me in disgust and then headed off like the young boy had. I know what it means. No, 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 no. I don't. But I want to know more than anything. Please tell me. Won't any of you tell me who I have hurt? How can I ask forgiveness when I don't know what I've done? How can I apologize when I don't know who to apologize to? I could hear the responses in my head. You already know the answer to that. I could see judging eyes, hateful eyes, disgusted eyes. I'm trash. The worst. I'm scum. I'm evil. I could hear them telling me that. You deserve worse than this. That's why we're going to continue making you suffer. Please, tell me what I've done. Nobody responded. I was losing it again. Over the past month I had been doing so well holding myself together. Now I was falling apart. Nothing had changed. The people didn't just think I was a murderer, they knew I was a murderer. I thought back to my first day and the lady who said, "May the Ghost of Alcantra curse you." Is that what this is all about? Ghost of Alcantra. Whoever you are, is this your curse? Of course not. Curses aren't real. Pull yourself together, man. There's an explanation for this. Ghosts aren't real. Curses aren't real. So what's the explanation? Everyone in this town is in on making me suffer? That's ridiculous. What's going on? What's going on is obvious. I'm fucking crazy. I'm delusional. How else would you explain this? Everyone here knows what I've done. Is this not like another nightmare, maybe? They're all in on this. This is a town effort. They're trying to make me insane. It's working. The moment I woke up, everyone was in on a plan to punish me. I started running from downtown and everyone's eyes followed me. I could hear their voices. Didn't you listen to us? You can't run away. We're watching you. We know all the bad things you've done. We know all the bad things you've thought. You deserve this. It's your fault. Her blood is on your hands. She'll never forgive you. We'll never forgive you. Just shut up. Just shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I tried to run away, but a middle-aged man with a briefcase got on my way. I tried to push him away, but he was too strong.
Sorry, but we have one more message we'd like you to read.
He forced the envelope into my hand.
Oh, is that so? Well, as much as I appreciate these, I'd like them to make some fucking sense. Don't worry, this one is most enlightening.
Enlightening? Is it a list of crimes and my punishment? That would be heaven. I tore open the envelope. Inside was the same white paper and red words. But the message wasn't short. It was a whole page long. Dearest Victor, we know this must be most frightening, and that's the point. We are tired of your patheticness. You want us to tell you what you've done, but that would defeat the purpose. You see, the whole point of all this was to get you to realize what you've done. Until you remember, we leave you with these sentiments. She'll never forgive you, and you most certainly will never forgive yourself. Death would be far better than what you deserve. You know this to be true. You want this. You want to be punished. You want to be tortured. You won't be happy until she sees you burn. Love, clicked too fast. The residents of Alcantra. I think that's sad. Yeah, the residents of Alcantra, okay. I looked up from the letter, not knowing what my expression must have been, for there was no way to describe what I felt. Is this real? I was about to say, is Victor just delusional? Like, really going mad here?
Oh, definitely, Victor. This couldn't be any more real.
The man nodded and walked away. Goodness, these people really did have too much time on their hands. I couldn't help but laugh. What's everyone's fucking problem? Oh, of course, silly me. I'm sorry, everyone. My bad. Who wouldn't want this? It's just that I forgot. You know, on account that I'm a fucking amnesiac. What do you all want from me? I'm gone. I'm beyond crazy. I'm a lunatic. I can't help that I don't remember things. So, empathetic, huh? Well, if you knew what it was like to be like this, maybe you'd be a bit more sympathetic. Every time I try to pull myself together, you all send me another nightmare or do something like this. Someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. It was the older gentleman I initially approached about the thorns. This old guy. He was a little different than the others. He had such a gentle expression right now.
Victor, she really does want to see you again. She's waiting for you. We all are. Good luck.
Of all the things that could send me over the edge, that was it. Screaming. It sent me over the edge because it was true. She, the ghost of Alcantra. She was waiting for me. She wants to see me again. But I killed her. I killed her. Her blood is on my hands. My hands are stained with blood. They'll never be clean again. What would I even say to her? I'm sorry. Sorry for stabbing you 8 fucking times? I started running, screaming the whole time. I was running away. That's what I was best at. There was only one person waiting for me. The ghost of Alcantra. But I couldn't face her. Not yet. I wasn't ready. Maybe I'd never be ready. Never. I ran all the way back to Detective Storm's house. I ran inside. It was afternoon and she should have been at the station working, but there she was, sitting on the couch waiting for my return. Scarlet Storm. I was right to not trust her. She was at the heart of all this. She set me up. She's been using me from the start. The whole town is torturing me, and you're the ringleader, Scarlet Storm. She called up Elaine Weatherton. She talked to the doctors. She called the townspeople ahead of time. I bet these murders have all been faked so that she can torture me. Why is everyone doing this to me? I wanted this done to me? Who the fuck would want this done to them? Who could ever hate themselves enough for this? I charged into the room prepared to scream at Detective Storm. Instead, all I could do was fall to my knees in exhaustion. I was pathetic. I still held out hope that she alone would understand my plight, that even if the whole town was against me, she'd be on my side. She was always there when I needed it. Would she be here for me now? We're still waiting on you, Victor. You can't run away. I've been telling you that for a long time now. Of course she wouldn't be on my side. You're behind this. She rolled her eyes at me. Don't be ridiculous. Then how does everyone know what I've done? What's with those messages? Everyone knows because you know. I don't know. Yes, you do. She pulled me to my feet and set me down on the couch. My God, you really are pathetic sometimes. But that's the job, I guess. You did make me the guide after all. The fuck does that mean? You'll remember eventually. That's what we're all waiting for. I've had enough of the fucking riddles. Let me tell you this, Detective Storm. If you want help with your investigation, you better tread carefully. I've had enough. I'm fucking gone. If I don't get some answers, I don't mind killing myself. I scared myself with that. However, I was the only one scared by what I had said. Detective Storm, she just laughed at me. You'll find that killing yourself would be surprisingly ineffective given your circumstances. What? What did that mean? She pulled me off of the couch and I was too startled to resist. She dragged me to the room I'd been staying in. Get some rest. Just imagine this was all just a bad dream. I'll do it, you know. Kill myself. Then you'll never solve your investigation. What a hollow threat. I told you that you can't run away, and death is running away. For now, at least. She walked out the door. Sweet dreams. What the fuck? Are we all ghosts? Is this a ghost town? Or what? And that's why we can't kill ourselves? This is so weird. Whatever. Fuck her. Fuck everyone. The clarity of wishing to die washed away my craziness. Or maybe my craziness washed away my sanity. I had enough. I was tired of this. I was going to lock myself in here and starve myself. Detective Storm wouldn't save me. She wouldn't do a thing. She didn't care about me. Nobody did. I locked the door of the room and sat on the bed. I wasn't leaving this room. This would be my coffin. Eventually, after about 12 hours, I nodded off. Detective Storm was right. Sweet dreams indeed. As if that wasn't already a nightmare. I was back in that familiar darkness. In front of me was a ballroom, though that wasn't quite right because there was no room. There were no walls, just a dance floor surrounded by darkness. On that dance floor, couples twirled about. Unlike my first nightmare, these people had faces. I knew why I was having this dream. This was the setting for the third murder. The culprit would be strangled to death in a room in the event center, while everyone was preoccupied with the main event in the ballroom. So, what was the point of this? Who cared if I remembered now? There was nothing to be gained from this nightmare. The people of Alcantra tortured me while I was awake. Couldn't I at least be free from torture in my dreams? I knew the answer was no, but I was going to try and run anyway. I ran away from the dance scene as fast as I could. Just like in my second nightmare, running away proved futile. As soon as I changed direction, so did the ballroom. There it was in front of me again. I changed directions again. I would keep this up as long as I could. Wake up, wake up, wake up, me! I kept running. The ballroom and its occupants got closer and closer, no matter how many times I changed direction. I kept running and running, but eventually I ran right into the ballroom. This was the general setting for the third murder, but this recreation in my dreams was much more extravagant. The scene could have been pulled straight out of the Beauty and the Beast. There were twin spiraling staircases at the ends of the dance floor that looked like they led to nowhere. The room was adorned with glass tables with expensive dishes on them. A live band was playing at one end of the hall. Everyone dancing was dressed in fancy attire. The women in puffy ballroom gowns, the men in stupid expensive suits. I made an evil grin. If I couldn't avoid what was going to happen, I might as well have some fun. I walked over to a nearby table that had a turkey roast and a carving knife. I grabbed the knife and looked for the most stabbable person in the room. Okay, I thought maybe you could just join in the festivities, get some of that turkey. Most stabbable person in the room, okay. I settled on a dude with a scrunched up, punchable face and an Italian suit. I strolled over and interrupted his dance by sticking the knife into his throat. I had gone through several murders already in these dreams. What was one more? Nothing happened to him. The dude just kept dancing, even with the knife in his throat. Nobody around paid any attention. He kept spinning around like an idiot, having a good time despite the river of blood flowing from his throat. What kind of party was this supposed to be? I strolled over to a lady in a particularly frilly pink dress and punched her in the face as hard as I could. She stumbled backwards and her dance partner gave me a look of befuddlement. But my punches were absolutely nothing. She walked right back to her dance partner and they started dancing again. This was a dance party of zombies. That left me one option to try and get out of here. I returned to the guy I had stabbed and took the knife out of his throat. I looked at the red-stained blade, imagined the weight of my life, took a deep breath, closed my eyes, pressed the tip of the blade against my throat, and then thrust it with everything I had. Once again, nothing happened. No pain, nothing. Unlike the other guy, I didn't even bleed. I just looked silly with a knife in my throat. I guess I wasn't able to die here. I took the knife out of my throat, waited a moment as the wound closed itself, and then stuck the knife into a random man's back. He ignored it, of course. Everyone kept dancing without a care in the world. Did this even count as a nightmare? It wasn't scary, it was just weird. I didn't get it. The previous 2 nightmares had obvious points to them. What was the purpose of this one? I walked over to the punch bowl, wondering if attempting to drown myself would accomplish anything. As I reached the table, I felt a tap on my shoulder. A woman who looked to be in her mid-20s had been the one to approach me. She wore a long sleeveless yellow gown and had her brown hair done in a princess braid. She was dazzling, and all I could do was wonder how I was going to end up killing her.
Yes?
She extended her hand to me. Would you like to dance? I assumed there was nothing else I could do anyway. I took her hand and she led me to the dance floor with all the other dancing zombies. I didn't know how to ballroom dance, but apparently in my dreams I was a fast learner. After a few clumsy steps, we were gracefully navigating the dance floor.
Hi, I'm Victor. You are?
Oh, my name isn't important. She flashed me a radiant smile. I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. She was nothing to me. Let me tell you about me. She twirled around while holding my hands. I did my undergraduate studies at Princeton. I majored in both mechanical and chemical engineering. I minored in biology. I was president of 5 clubs.
Who cares? Oh, very impressive.
I later received my master's and PhD from Harvard.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? I own my own company now. She put her arms around my neck and leaned in close. So tell me, are you interested? It seemed like a genuine question, though what she saw in me, I had no idea. Unlike some of my previous nightmares, she wasn't faceless. She had a beautiful face and beautiful brown eyes.
No, I'm not interested.
She nodded. Of course not. Even someone as smart as me isn't good enough for you. Even if I was the smartest girl in the world, I'd be nothing to you. After all, I'm not the ghost you're looking for. There's only ever been one girl for you. With that, she leaned in and kissed me. You'd think it would be wonderful, but it felt awful, horrible. Her lips felt disgusting and gross. This wasn't right at all. She started to dissolve. Her flesh started to melt. The blood drained out of her. The life faded from her. Soon, I was kissing a skeleton. I unwrapped myself from the rest of the skeleton and let the bones clatter to the ground. She wasn't the ghost I'm looking for. Moments later, another woman approached me. She was just as beautiful as the last one. She had long curled blonde hair and wore an elegant blue dress. This dress was a little riskier than typical ballroom fare. Instead of a ballroom gown, she wore a curve-hugging dress that displayed a notable amount of cleavage. It looked like she had come right out of someone's fantasy, which I guess she had. She extended her hand towards me like the first woman had. Would you like to dance? I accepted the hand of the second victim. We started dancing together. She was bolder than the first girl. She leaned in close and wasn't afraid to place my hands where she wanted them. It didn't matter. I still felt nothing.
Let me guess, you want to tell me about yourself?
She winked at me.
How did you know? Lucky guess.
In college, I won several beauty pageants: Miss America, Miss Earth, and Miss World.
Wow, that's really great.
I do modeling now, mostly swimsuits, but I also do fashion show stuff.
That's not surprising.
Right, I'm gorgeous. And you know, I do some other work you might be interested in. She moved my hand on her hip upwards towards her breasts. I removed my hand.
Sorry, I'm not interested.
She nodded. Of course you're not. Even someone as beautiful as me is nothing to you. Even if I was the most desirable woman alive, I wouldn't stand a chance with you. After all, I'm not the ghost you're looking for. There's only ever been one girl for you. She took a step back from me. She started removing her clothes. I looked around. None of the other dancers seemed to notice. Didn't she hear me? I wasn't interested. But even once all the clothing was gone, she kept taking things off. She grabbed her face and with some effort took it off. She removed the skin from the bones. She threw the skin towards me. She reached in her mouth, yanked as hard as she could, and grabbed her teeth. She continued doing this, removing flesh from body, skin from bone. She removed her face, her neck, her chest, her stomach, her arms, and her legs. She kept throwing her skin at me. I was told before by the devs that one nightmare would be the worst, but depending on your angle, well, that first one I think was very visceral in other ways than just gore, but okay. Eventually, I was left with a pile of skin and bones at my feet. I ignored the pile and turned away. Right towards another woman. Except this time, I recognized the woman. Tall, confident build, long, wavy red hair, a smug look on her face. I was face to face with Detective Storm. She wore a green ball gown, but had her red hair in a ponytail. She extended her hands towards me. Would you want to dance?
What the fuck are you doing here?
What? You don't think I fit in with the others? Not smart enough? Not beautiful enough?
That's not it. This is a dream. You're real. You shouldn't be here.
I'm not worth dreaming about.
This is a nightmare where I'm supposed to learn things about what's going on. Where would you show up?
Why would I not show up then? You've learned lots from me.
You weren't part of the murders in 1987.
No, but I'm part of you. And this is what these nightmares are all about. She shook her extended hand impatiently at me. Just grab it already. I reluctantly grabbed her hand and she started swinging me around.
So, you're going to tell me how great you are too? I've met the smartest girl, the most beautiful girl. Are you the most detective girl I'll meet?
She laughed. Nope, I'm not even that. I'm not like the other two. I'm smart enough, I'm hot enough, but I'm not the smartest or the hottest. Just a person in your life. But there is one thing I share with those other women though.
And that is?
That I'm not good enough for you.
That's not true, you're...
Let me clarify. I, Scarlet Storm, am good enough for you. By an objective standard. Actually, I'm way too good for you. However, to Victor, Scarlet Storm isn't good enough for him.
I mean, of course there would be nothing between us, and it's not like you want me.
That's true, but even if I did, it wouldn't matter. You wanted to learn something? This is what you should learn from this. There is no girl smart enough for you. There is no girl pretty enough for you. There is no longer any girl for you. None of us are the ghost you're looking for.
So, who is this ghost I'm looking for?
The Ghost of Alcantra, of course. Really now.
And who is the Ghost of Alcantra?
Oh, you'll meet her soon enough. That was the whole point of this. In the meantime, let's have you learn something else. She gestured around the ballroom. You know what this is, right?
Yeah, it's going to be where the next victim is killed. Well, more specifically, she's going to be killed in a room outside the ballroom, but yeah, that's basically right. And do you know how she dies? She'll be strangled. That's right. Happy now? Like I needed to tell you things you already knew. If you hadn't been so insistent on running away, I could have avoided having to dance with you. Brings back dark times. Anyway, you remember enough that you're almost ready to meet her. Her? The Ghost of Alcantra. We kept dancing. Our dance was a harbinger of death. Each time we spun around, a nearby couple crumbled apart into skeletons. We spun around and around, and soon we were dancing in a graveyard. You know, this nightmare wasn't so bad. What do you mean? This nightmare wasn't too traumatizing, just a little weird. Of course not. You should be grateful for the chance to dance with me. It's not so bad. I definitely prefer you to the smartest and prettiest girl. That's obvious. After all, it's me. Yeah, no need to be full of yourself. That doesn't have anything to do with it. You prefer dancing with me because I'm a part of you, unlike those other women. Part of me sounds a little dramatic for our relationship. I wouldn't say that. I meant enough that I'm here, and not enough that you couldn't avoid being here. What was that supposed to mean? Giving me riddles even in my dreams. Believe me, this better be the last time I have to show up in your dreams. We twirled once more, and the last remaining couple met their fate as a pile of bones. Well, we should wrap this up properly. She turned to me and gave me a big sigh, clearly not enjoying this. Are you interested in me? It was hard to take her words seriously when they sounded like she was being held at gunpoint. I'm not. She nodded. Of course not. After all, I'm not the ghost you're looking for. There's only ever been one girl for you. I would know. She stepped back from me and snapped her fingers. And here she is. She vanished into dust, and the rest of the ballroom scene disappeared with her. It was pure darkness now, but I could hear something, feel something. I wasn't alone in this darkness. There was someone with me, and I knew who it was. It was her, the ghost I had been looking for. She had been by my side all this time. I could feel her. I could see her. Yes, I had been chasing her my whole life. Now here she was. Finally, the air in front shifted into the shape of a woman. There she was. I ran up and held her. I held her in my arms. My evanescent but ever-present ghost. I'm here now. I'm sorry I made you wait so long. I missed you. I missed you so much. I held her in my arms. Slowly she materialized. Long, wavy blonde hair, a purple nightgown, and no face, no face, no face, no face. Her arm appeared in front of me, reaching out to me slowly. That arm that was so familiar to me had 4 stab wounds on it. Then the rest of her body appeared. Her chest was bloody, very bloody. There were 4 stab wounds there as well. The Ghost of Alcantra moved in my arms. I felt her fingers close around my throat. They gripped tight. And tighter. And tighter. And tighter. And tighter. And tighter. And I faded away, away, away. Held in the chokehold of the woman I loved, in her loving embrace. Another nightmare? When is Victor going to catch a break? Seriously? Even the achievements mocking him. What was that? Like both of that, both the scene in the town which is so weird. Like, that could have been a nightmare on its own. But is it really? Is the whole town in on it? Is... Huh? Like, is this a, what's his name? Is it a Truman Show thing? I don't know, it's so strange. Can you get a small town to be like that? For one person? For him to remember stuff? I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Or he's just, again, delusional, but even then. Or like a, spoilers, Shutter Island thing? It's so wild. And I mean, nightmares, like actual nightmares, they don't have to make sense, yeah? They rarely really do. But yeah, now I'm just more confused than ever. I'm still not ruling out the possibility that Victor maybe is someone from this timeline that we know. Could it even be Nick? Does that make sense? I don't know. Which would like imply to me that maybe we're betraying Alexandria or something. Even if not on purpose. Everything's so weird. I don't know. I think I'm actually going to leave it here today. We could maybe carry on for a bit longer, but I need to let that sit for a bit, I think. And yeah, let's still hope that maybe then next time in the 87 timeline it's gonna be either better, or maybe we're going to go to the third murder, because in 87 it apparently did happen, so we already are kind of spoiled for that. But yeah, that's it from me for today. As always, I'd really appreciate your thoughts in the comments below. No spoilers, obviously, but we can do some theorizing, yeah? But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!